Hey guys, we're back with a GODZone update. So I've been out all day, so I'm still catching up with what's going on. But of course, I'm most interested in getting a rundown of the Rogaine stuff. That there's still people on this Rogaine in the Whirinaki forest here. I've got the map here of this is where I've been spending a lot of my attention over the past day, and yeah, it looks like a lot of the teams have come through. The top teams have got through pretty well. From the news, I'm not aware of anyone who's lost a lot of time, but there has been some pretty big variations, up to 15 or 16 hours. But it's possible people are. I'm not exactly sure where the timing's from, and maybe people are taking a rest at some point. It's always hard to know exactly how well those split times reflect people's performance. But yeah, this is super cool, and of course we've been all wanting to know actually how tough is the forest, and it's great that we do have some better footage now of what some of this stuff looks like. And so the forest is quite passable. It's leafy, but it's not viney, but it looks at least where these videos are taken from. So that's been interesting to know, and obviously a really good choice of a place to do this kind of nav. So here we can see that it's pretty passable. You can get through the forest. Maybe they've just chosen the nicest places to take the photos, but that is choice. That is super cool to do some navigation stuff off trail in a really mature forest like this, and not an introduced forest, like a real native, wild, unspoilt wilderness forest. That's the good stuff. Cool. So we'll have a look. One last look at the Rogaine before. There's a lot of people still on it. We'll jump back, and I will get the tails on this time, so we can see. I'll play with that. We'll get the tails. How do we get tails? Okay, I thought it was easy to get tails. I did it before. Tails. No. There we go. Yeah, okay. Whoa. That's not exactly what I wanted. Filters. Cool. So just replaying back these. Alright, here we go. These earlier guys. You can see where people are going through these controls. And I'll just set it up like this so that we can remind ourselves exactly what it looks like. So the controls are these points here, these corners. That's where the controls are on this one here, and on the on the left hand side here, we will just follow the top guys through. Okay, it's not playing ball. Come on. Through. So let's see if there's any trends as to which controls people are actually going for. Yeah, I'll have a look, Neil. I want to see what these guys are up to. Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell. It does look like a number of people are missing missing B. Okay, let's wind it back. So we can see all these aggregate tails forming, and you can see where they're most concentrated. So obviously everyone is getting D. Not everyone is getting E. Some people are going straight to F and H, which was my suggestion. People should miss E, especially in nighttime, because you've got more reliable handrails to get to F and to H. F because it's on the highest point, whereas E is not on the highest point. It's actually on a high point on a spur, and there's lots of parallel spurs. Yeah, so now it's getting really hard to see where the average traffic is going. But rolling it through, there do seem to be, yeah, so there was a few people there who were missing out H, going D, E, G, I. So there isn't, the Rogaine is obviously well set because you're not getting everyone doing the same thing. Hey, that is interesting. 23 these guys have burnt some time at Highland events. They were up there earlier on, and they haven't lost the race, but they are hanging out downstream by the looks of it. They've got themselves much further down to the east of H, and they've obviously sorted themselves out and got H, but oh boy, that's not the right way. So Neil, I think I would have missed at nighttime. I would have missed B and E because I think there's a really nice route to go from A, and then let's see if we can get this a bit closer. We'll actually use this one because we can get closer. So, but then we can't see the letters. Okay, I think it's good to go A and then C up the spur, really reliable, following the spurs along to D, which is also at a high point. So it's very, when you get there, you just keep going uphill, uphill, uphill until you get there, which is not the same case for E. You could be too low or too high or too far north or too far south. It's pretty hard. So I would have then gone for F, where again it's on a high point. It's not the only high point in the area, but at least it is on the highest point. H as well, it's quite safe just to follow the stream down from F and then up the other stream to H, and then following the streams around to G and to I. I is on a high point on a ridge line. It's very easy to go from G to the south up the hill and follow that spur around. So that's my take on what the best way is to do, and it looks like there's been all the variations have been tried basically. Interesting to see 29. These guys are not hanging out on. Okay, so this could be a new combination of team 29 here. Come on, why can't I click on them? Here we go. Mito, Hannah Norton, Kelly Monroe, Byron Monroe, and Owen Warburton. These guys have tried to go from B to E and miss out C and D, which is interesting. I think that's interesting. I don't think that's optimal. I think that's a lot of wiggly, tough going navigation to go from B to E. Yeah, you've really got to pick down the right spurs here, and maybe they're following the ridgeline the whole way around, in which case, yeah, interesting. But it's well set, like it's doable. So that's quite cool to see people do that. There's a number of other people who I think have done the same thing, but they've done up the stream by the looks of all these grey lines in the middle. They've gone up to B and then down to the stream and then followed the stream along to D and missed out C. And there's a few lines I think they go from B to E but not on the spur. They actually just go up the stream the whole way. Cool. Well set Rogaine. Lots of ways to do it. Let's get up to speed though with who came off the Rogaine first. I mentioned Ataraxia, who I think pulled a huge amount of time on the Rogaine by the looks of the splits. Okay, so of course Avea come off first. Then you've got iSport and Mochueka. Solid navigators there. They've really killed it at nighttime, I think. I wish it could pause where I wanted it to pause. That would be great. And you've got, yeah, also ataraxia there, getting right up in the mix. They're having a good rest though, they're having a good sleep. Okay, they found a nice place to sleep. This is a while ago though, remember? So we're just winding back. Torpedo 7, strong team again. Sneaky Weasel Gang, down a bit for them actually. And then they're on the bike, just hooning through the forest. I don't think any action will happen. Here's what it looks like on the topo map. Just pretty simple nav, staying on the trails, getting out to the road. Looks like they've got a checkpoint. Where am I? Checkpoint 21, which is really just on this road here. No, sorry, where am I? Losing the plot. Out here. Easy checkpoint. And now they're just on the bike until we get to the pack raft. So there's a big trek up the hill. Not sure on the forest quality here, but if it's anything like that beautiful forest that they had the Rogaine in, then they should be going just as they please, really, staying on the ridgeline. Really taking on some elevation here on this ridgeline. There's a trail from here, which is going to be fast. And then they're dropping off the trail into the river and rafting the whole way down. Well, so there's a trail here, so this is interesting. At which point do they decide to start rafting? This suggests that they don't decide to start rafting until the river's significantly bigger down here. We'll see. I think that's what's quite interesting. There's options, and they can work out the options on the go. They can change their mind if it's not working out because the trail's close. It'll be interesting to see which way is faster. Maybe they want to break. Maybe their feet are sore. They can jump in the boat for a little bit. Really cool pack rafting leg. So getting on top of the trackers. Of course, we had Avea getting to TA5 first. Looks like they hang out there for a little bit, maybe had a short rest. Or maybe they were just getting the stuff together. They did not stay there for that long, really. I'm expecting some of these guys to have, a 4-hour rest at some stage. And then we've got iSport 07. iSport and Tiki Tour. So Tiki Tour won GODZone a few years ago, so they're super dangerous. At the top, they well down in the valley. Ataraxia, who have really pulled ground. Like, I was pretty skeptical when I saw their GPS move up so much on the Rogaine, but now that's outstanding. That's super cool. And we've got the Racer's Edge, Torpedo 7. These guys have moved up a lot as well, and we weren't mentioning them quite. They weren't close to the front earlier on, but this is a very strong team, and you can see that it just takes time for people to find where their position should be. Okay, yeah, this interface is not the best, eh? How am I ever supposed to click on one of these guys now? Six out for the view, and actually, come on, here we go. We're refreshing this guy. So I'm just trying to catch who that last team was for. Oh, so there's Ataraxia. So, right, so Ataraxia, yeah, coming in. No. Oh, yeah, okay. So there's the positioning. 4 is out for the view. Yeah, okay. We covered them earlier. Cool. And then you've got Sneaky Weasel Gang. Yeah, so these are all the top teams. Nutrient Rescue, we've been covering them. Victory vs Nelson have not been covering these guys. So these guys are making ground. Radix Nutrition have not been covering these guys. Definitely making ground. You know, people have had to have some stops by this stage. So those who started too fast, you know, maybe taking some time to rest. Those who had a rest earlier going on. Highland Events have been covering these guys. Yeah, they lost some time in the Rogaine. We watched them go way downstream. So they're still making up ground to that. They were really in amongst that chasing second pack to Avea. I mean this big bunch of top teams. Crafty wicker bars, cool. Yeah, again, yeah, like good athletes here. Sweet. So now it's just a matter of waiting to see exactly what they do. If we can get the long tails on, no, it's going to be very hard to tell if they're in the river or on the trail, to be honest. It's very hard to tell if they're on the river or the trail. Based on where that point is coming from, based on where that GPS point, let's wind it back a little bit. I don't know how accurate these points are, if they're dancing around, bouncing off the cliff walls. That is in the stream by the looks of it. So maybe they're pack rafting from checkpoint 24, which is what this really suggests they would do. Maybe they were pack rafting earlier. Too hard to say. Need some photos coming out of the river, guys. Photos of the river, please. Sweet. Well, that's pretty much all for now. Keen to see how they come through. But any one of this group here is going to find themselves hunting for the second and third place. That podium is way too early to call. Cool. That's pretty interesting. Thanks for the feedback and for the suggestions. That was very useful. And I will be back at 8 tomorrow. See you if you're there. I won't see you if you're not. Hope you're watching GODZone though.